The UFC needs a 165-pound division, man. It's actually absurd that they don't have one, and it's actually crazy that majority of MMA organizations don't have one. And the reason that is most commonly given is the fact that, hey, we don't want this to become like boxing, man. We don't want to have a division every 5 pounds, which I completely agree with. But specifically for a 165-pound division, I think it would not only serve the UFC, but MMA as a whole. And I'm going to give a couple of reasons why and just let you guys know why I think 165-pound division should be a thing, man. So, first thing first, most of you guys know how MMA divisions work at this point, man. You have a 125, you have a 135, you have a 145, you have a 155, and then you have a 15-pound difference between the next closest division between 155 and 170, then another 15-pound difference between 185, man. So, you say, well, majority of people, they know it's fine, right? It is not, specifically because of the simple fact that there's a couple of reasons why 165-pound division will help. One, the 145, 155, and 135-pound divisions are clogged. And I don't mean like they're clogged in terms of, oh, there's too many fighters there. I mean in terms, there's too many top fighters who aren't getting recognition because of the simple fact that these divisions are being held up in clogged, bro. Like, that's the definition of clogged. That makes sense, man. I told you I'm a little slow, but they are genuinely clogged. Two, weight cutting. This is a second, byproduct of the fact that these divisions are so close. Like, you have this massive jump between 170 and 155. So you have a lot of people who should probably be fighting it somewhere between 165 and 166 who have to go down to 155. So as a result, you have a dudes who should be fighting at 155 going down to 45, dudes who should be fighting at 45 going down to 35, and so far and so forth, man. So this will help with weight cutting. And last but not least, just excitement, man. Another belt, better matchups, and better double champ opportunities. So first thing first, let's talk about how clogged 135, 145, 155 is, man. Now, this is actually a byproduct of the second fact, which is weight cutting, bro. But we all know 155 is probably the most stacked division in MMA. And I'm not talking about just top tier talent, which it has, but as you go through the lightweight rankings, man, there's some insane fighters who are unranked. Like, right off the top of my head, Goran Kudalava is amazing. He's unranked. Drew Dober, exciting, fun fighter, great fighter. He's unranked. Bobby Green, unranked, which is definitely more understandable. Thiago Moises, unranked. Joel Alvarez, unranked. And it's not like these dudes are trash. Like, these dudes, and the funniest thing about lightweight is most of these dudes have fought each other, and they either like Joel Alvarez has beaten Thiago Moises, and Thiago Moises has beaten this dude, but Thiago Moises will lose to Gorm, and then Gorm will lose the Demir, then Demir will lose to. It's just weird. So this will just clear up a lot of that log jam at 155 and then 145 and 135. Because what? A lot of the dudes who cut a lot of weight to get 155, they're gonna fight at 165 now. Guess what? That's gonna allow people to move up the rankings. A lot of dudes who cut a lot of weight to fight at 145, they're going to move up to 155. A lot of people who cut a lot of weight to get to 35, they're going to go up to 45. And it's just going to leave a lot of that pressure of you just having these great fighters who aren't getting any type of recognition because of the fact that they have to compete with dudes who are cutting either a lot of weight or dudes who have these stacked divisions. And you say, well, that's just going to make these divisions less stacked. They are not. Like, those 4 divisions, 165, 155, 130, 45, and 135 are always going to be stacked no matter what. It just works like that. It's been like that in boxing forever also, bro, where those divisions between 170 and 130 are always loaded because just naturally how most humans are built, they can make those weight classes. So you don't have to worry about those weight classes now becoming dry. It just adds more opportunity for fighters, bro. And the second reason, and the biggest reason for me as a fighter, weight cutting. Cutting weight sucks. Like, if you've ever done it, I've done it. It isn't fun. And not only is it not fun, it tears your body up. It's tiring. It's a lot, man. So you still are going to have certain dudes who will still cut a shit ton of weight. Like, don't get me wrong about that. There's always going to be those weight cutting bullies, bro. But for majority of fighters, if you told them, hey, we're going to make another 10-pound division where you guys are going to have to cut less weight, almost everybody would agree to that. Imagine a dude like Dustin Poirier not having to cut down all the way to 55. Imagine how many actual 55ers would now get a chance. Or a dude like Max Holloway not having to cut down to 45. He can go up to 55. Or a dude like Michael Chandler not having to go down to 55. Or Aljamain Sterling not having to rip his body apart and go to 140. He can now go 145. This will lead to better fights, man. Less people who are weight cutting means better fights, means better viewing experience. It's just like that, bro. You'll no longer have these fights where you have great fighters gassing out in less than a round or getting hurt early in fights because of the fact they just cut fucking 15 to 17, 16, 20 pounds the day before and just had to weigh in, man. So yeah, the weight cutting part of this is usually the one I point out first, man. Again, majority of fans don't care about weight cutting, right? Like, they know it's a thing, but specifically for the fighters, I think this would be a great opportunity just so they won't have to ravage their body and have to cut all this weight consistently, man. So yeah, weight cutting is definitely something I think will matter in this case, man. So that's a big one for me. And last but not least, opportunity. A lot of y'all love Colby Covington. A lot of y'all love Dustin Poirier. Imagine if tomorrow Dana White came out and said, hey, we're going to turn the men's welterweight championship into a 175-pound division. We're going to add a Cisco division. I don't know. a Cisco for the Cisco the weight division, man. We're just going to say Cisco. I don't know the terms of them, man. But yeah, now Dustin Poirier and Colby Covington are going to be fighting for the inaugural 100, or Justin Gaethje and Dustin Poirier are going to be fighting for the inaugural 165-pound division title. That Dustin Poirier and Justin Gaethje fight that is happening for no reason now other than people just want to watch it with the BMF belt on the thigh. Imagine if that was actually for an inaugural 65 title, bro. It adds more stakes to these fights. It adds more money into the pocket of the actual fighters, bro. Now, instead of fighting for a BMF belt, which majority of fighters don't care about, you have a actual title belt to compete for. Imagine how much more important that fight will feel for Dustin and Justin if they had a 65-pound division to fight for. Or, again, a guy like Colby Covington, who let's be honest, Colby Covington's kind of small for 70. Like, he's not tiny, but he's not the biggest 170, right? Like, you look at him compared to dudes like Usman and Leon, or even, God forbid you put him in there with like Khamzat Chimaev. He's gonna look small, bro. But in the 165-pound division, he'll look right at home because he'll be fighting dudes like Dustin and Justin Gaethje who are about his size, man. So this just leads to more competitive fights where you don't have these 15-pound differences in weight when dudes are weighing in. Or when dudes are fighting, where you got to do like Khamzat, who probably on fight night is weighing 190, and you got to do like Colby Covington, who's probably somewhere around 180, bro. And you say, well, it's just 10 pounds. 10 pounds is a lot. Like, that's the difference between Max Holloway fighting on fight night and Michael Chandler fighting on fight night. Could you imagine that fight? Like, you just like, hey, yeah, that's the difference between those two, man. So 10 pounds is a lot of weight when you're fighting, man. So again, more competitive and more competition, more opportunities, less weight cutting, and just more exciting fights, man. You have different matchups. Imagine the double champ opportunities. If there was a 165-pound division with Kamaru Usman was champion, right? The whole thing he said was he didn't want to go up there and he didn't want to fight Israel Adesanya. Guess what? He could have went down to 65 and he could have went for double champ opportunity, man. Or Islam Makhachev right now, currently one of those big tweeners. I don't think Islam is the biggest 155er, bro. He gets the 155 belt. Guess what? Him and Colby Covington, say Colby has the 165-pound belt. That's a fight now. So yeah, I just think he leads to more opportunities, and I just honestly want to see it, bro. I think 165-pound division will be great for the sport. Now, I'm not one of those dudes that think they should go 10 pounds all the way up into heavyweight. That's just ridiculous. 205 is already not deep enough. 185 is already barely deep enough, but those lower weight divisions, those 55, those 35, and those 45, they have enough talent to where you can disperse them across another division, man. And you can always sign people. Like, that's the case. Like, they have the money. Clearly, the UFC has the money, man. So, yeah, I will see you guys in the next one. Appreciate y'all for watching. I'm out, man.